Hey everybody, it's D with D's Tackle Box, and today we have another episode of a couple of different lures that I wanted to share with you guys. Lures are our main thing on our channel, so that's one of the things you're always going to see when you tune in. We do talk about reels and rods and other stuff, tackle boxes and things like that, but lures are our main thing here. If you have anything specific that you want to inquire about, let us know, and we'll do our best to be able to accommodate a video that helps you figure out whatever it is that you got going on in your collection or in your picks or finds or stuff like that. You know, we're here to help. But at the same time, today we got a couple of weird looking lures that maybe the creators at that time thought this would be a good concept. Some of them proved to be good and people still use them, and some of them just kind of took a seat on the back of the tackle box and just kind of lay in there every now and then. Let's get started real quick. I'll show y'all a couple of really cool lures and stuff like that. I got a couple of bits and pieces of info here that we can go over. Some of these lures I know for a fact they're kind of weird looking, and I don't know if y'all tried these out, but one of them, to start off with something kind of weird and complicated here, let's talk about this guy here. This is a Weber shadra, and it's kind of like a popping type of jerk bait. It's got a propeller on the back, and these are meant to be, I guess, top water chugging kind of supposed to have a little bit of a wobble, but more of a chug and man, what's the word, leaving the trail bubbles with the tail piece or the propeller at the tail. So this is one from, I think it's about 1960s, I believe it said, worth about, maybe I would say $20 easy. They're not as common as other lures, but at the same time I think you would have fun fishing one of these. I personally like this profile. They got a smaller one, but this is going to be the one that we're going to tie on and try it out. We'll see what happens. Now, moving right along, there's one here that to me, and every time I see these, man, they look like a puppy, like a dog face or something looking at you. This is a McGill Eagle Claw hijacker, and that guy right there is about 1960s or 70s, and it doesn't have glass eyes or nothing like that, even though it looks like it. It's more of a like a protruding plastic type of finish there for the eyeballs, if you can get the angle correctly on here. And so this is, it kind of reminds me of the Head and River runs, don't you think? This again is a I'm assuming it's at least about 5/8 of an ounce weight. It's pretty heavy. It might be a little bit more than that, but it's a heavy lure. And 1960s, man, I mean, that's quite a bit. I mean, you would think that that's a long time ago, but 1960s, I mean, we got at least, what, 60 years on that lure? And so, you know, a lot of these lures were made back then, and sometimes they just sit in a tackle box or in a barn somewhere, and then when we come across some of them, we have to research them to see what they are, and then we like to share this stuff with you guys here. That way everybody benefits from the information and nobody hogs it all to themselves. Now, moving right along, we have one weird looking frog here. Check it out, and y'all get to vote at the comments here. Let me know which one you think is the weirdest one out of these that we're showing. This is number 3. This is the Roski Guido frog, and it's a 1990s kind of gimmicky lure type of thing. And man, I forgot the professional fisherman that was advocating for this one here, but it's a interesting looking lure. It's got a jointed body, but at the same time has a rattle in it. So I guess it's a couple of BBs or something small. Little, it feels like small little rattles inside. But a nice little crankbait. Might be interesting to see what it does, especially because it's got that opening there between the legs that it's going to be probably having to do with the bubble trail or the water motion that it activates as it moves throughout the water. So this is again, what is it, 1990s? So we got everything from what, 1960s, and now we're at 90s. And now let's go back to 1970s. That's a good, interesting one here. the whole idea. This lure here has a hole in its mouth, and you can actually see right through it. I wish I could get these hooks out of my hand to show y'all. There you go. Look, you can see the difference in the light. There you go. This lure here has these chambers where the water goes in through there and comes out through these holes, creating a little bit of turbulence as it cranks through the water. So it's supposed to be a whole new idea, and they have a couple of different versions of this bait. This one is called it's a 1/4 ounce deep baby noisy, because they have another one called the baby noisy, but the lip is shorter, and then they have this one that's the deep baby noisy, and then they got a couple of other ones that are larger and different in the front, kind of like a wake bait, and a couple of other different ones. But again, this is a Aquasonic, the whole idea, and the actual model is called a deep baby noisy. So there you go, 1977, 76, 77, somewhere around there for that one. And so here goes another one of those lures that it's just a weird design, and I don't know about being a productive lure the way it's designed. It's got the big front end like that, and the little sonic fire tail looking thing at the back. Now when you look at this lure, I could see it digging down, but I don't think that the tail is going to do exactly what, you know, what I would think it was. When I see it, you're thinking the tail's going to wag side to side, but being that it's weighed down, what do you think? Do you think this lure would actually you know, produce the intended wiggle on the tail, or is it just kind of gonna get caught up on stuff? Because I see it kind of like going sideways or turning, wanting to turn to each side instead of wiggling because of the way it's tapered like that. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong and they have a better design than I'm seeing here on this one lure. Regardless of which one it is, we might just tie that one up and see if we can video what kind of action we get. Now this is a Brooks jointed digger from the 1960s. So yeah, about $10, $12 tops. The Aquasonic that I was showing y'all earlier, we're looking at about probably about $10, $12 lure. They're not that hard to find. There's quite a bit of them actually. The jointed Guido frog, I'm thinking about same thing, $10 to $12. The McGill hijacker, that one's probably going to bring you a little bit more, maybe like 10 or 15 bucks, because it's a bit older and you know, it's a cool early plastics lure. And the shadra, I'm going to say about 20 bucks, man. This one is a little bit tougher and has a little bit of a, you know, it's a rarer lure to find as far as the grouping, like for the Weber lures, but they're still cool. They got a couple of different colors, like the black shore, you know, the skeleton colors that they use in heading, the white ribs on the black body and the black body with the white ribs. Those are all pretty cool in that particular brand. Now I got about 3 more here that I wanted to share with y'all before we get out of here. This one here, once again, this is a cotton Cordell, and this, my friends, is a 1979 lure, and the reason that we narrow it down to that is because these are called Cordell's balsa light lures. And when he created these here, lights, when he was making these the mixture to create the components for this, from what I understand and what I gathered, there wasn't a specific formula that he left behind saying this is exactly what you put together, but it's some type of foam material, or I'm thinking like a plastic and foam fuse type of material. But this is a lighter lure, so it's supposed to float a lot better, a lot different. But you know, it was one of those lures that I believe these were created probably about a couple of years before the company was sold. That again is your cotton Cordell balsa light, and it is a I'm thinking about $12 to $15 for this little crankbait. Pretty cool naturalized finish on that one too, just in case you're wondering what color that is. That, I think it's some type of bass, but it has a naturalized kind of like silverish blue type of tone to it. I think we have which one's the next one coming up? Bright Eyes. So this one right here is a P&K Bright Eyes from 1950s, I believe, is the, and you know, I don't know if you guys keep up with like vintage cars and stuff like that. I do. I like the old muscle cars, the classics and collectibles. This guy right here, when I look at these, I'm like, oh, that's got to be 1950s, because first of all, I see that grill, all that metal like that. You know, it's just got the right paint, the right expression, the right looks. And so that's how sometimes you're able to narrow down specifics on the lures, like what years they were made, things like that, the way that they carved the eyes out a little bit more. Most of the earlier ones had them either recessed or completely protruding the body like that. Just a lot of different characteristics on this lure that point to the 1950s. And then the research did lead to the 1950s lure, even though the company started off in the 1930s. They started producing this one here in the 1950s. And they have a bunch of different colors, man. I mean, there's kind of like this pike perch type look. There's a couple of other, your classic redhead and white ones, and a couple of other, you know, just different combinations of patterns and stuff like that. I don't know how well this one would fish. I haven't tried it, but I'm gonna say you could probably get about $15 for something like this, maybe 20 bucks on eBay or something. They're pretty cool looking, pretty heavy too. Now, the last one that I have here on our list is this guy here. For those of you that don't know, oh man, come on, that sucker hurt. So most of you guys can relate to these and know what these are, the ones that follow my channel and know my brands and stuff like that that we collect. This one here is a Rebel lure, and if you look at it closely, it's a Rebel humpy. So it's got the humpback feature. I think I showed y'all a couple of them in another episode here, and the lip at the right angle, brass on the hook, the hook hangers. And so this one here was probably 1980s, 1990s, when cigarette advertising was like everywhere. Well, this right here is a Joe Camel from the Camel cigarettes. This was the lure that I think they gave out when you sent in some points or something like that, or I never got into, you know, any of that stuff, but this one right here, probably, I'm thinking $10 to $15 because of the gimmicky and the condition. I mean, it's clean and everything. You can find these on eBay, I think, for around that price and stuff like that. I got one more here, that this one, I have no idea who's the maker, man. I thought it was a Phillips lure, then I thought it was a Tulsa Tackle lure. I can't tell if it's wood or plastic. It looks crazy cool. There's another company, Louisiana, that has something similar. I don't know. Just if you guys know which one this one is, I'd like to know. And look at the hardware, the way it sits, so that y'all can help me out with this one. It has this round lip here that reminds me of the Martin Lizard, but I don't think that's the same company. I could be wrong. And it looks like a snake or a something pattern there. I don't know. If you guys have an idea what that one is, let me know. But this is one of those odd ones that I just got sitting in one of these boxes here that we keep random brands we don't have identified or we don't have a name for, and different other lures that we find kind of odd and stuff like that in between different finds. We have come to the end of this video, but next time we wanted to talk to y'all a little bit more about something that comes in handy in a lot of different types of waters, and that is Mr. Cotton Cordell's spots. And we're going to go over some of these lures, talk about some of the rarities and colors and things like that. And so if you have not subscribed to our channel, or if you're watching this for the very first time and you're wondering what all this lure stuff is about, go back and watch the other videos. You'll get the idea of what we do here. And if you like it, subscribe, share it with your friends and people that you know that like the same kind of lure stuff, history, things like that. And we hope to see you again here the next time. We will cover a couple of different angles for the fall fishing thing. And other than that, y'all stay tuned for the next one. This is D signing off. Fish out.